Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen around the world, wherever you are. Welcome to Magic the Gathering. We are trying to dive into Neon Dynasty just a few weeks before New Capenna hits the arena. I've been sort of off Magic for a while, just getting back into it, getting to know the set. We've only done one draft in Arena so far. Did a bunch of simulated drafts online and seen a whole bunch of drafting happen, so I'm not completely unfamiliar with the format, but it's still fairly new to me. The last deck that we drafted was we first picked Farewell, and then we got past a whole bunch of blue cards that were all about card draw, and we got past counter spells nobody else wanted. Don't be this person, okay? Whoever's watching this video, don't be that guy. Okay. Anyways, we got past all of these blue cards, but then we had a Farewell. It looked like red was going to be slightly open, but then a bunch of medium to decent to possibly good red cards versus Farewell. Picked a few white cards, mostly went mono blue. Defensive creatures, counter spells, Farewell, vehicles. It was very fun. Went 7-2. So looking to see if we can't take our read of these cards and use them to make something cool happen. I don't think there's actually a de facto best archetype. There's a lot of synergies that you have to get through, really pin down your archetype. This is a format that really rewards knowing what you're doing. So haha, I'm screwed. No, JK. So March of Wretched Sorrow. Card's obviously very good. Instant speed, kill a thing, gain a bunch of life. None of the other creatures really apply to it, although this card is very good. Repeatable card draw, arguably on a very cheap body. Very good in literally any deck because it's colorless. This one is straight up like almost bomb level. This is one of the worst standalone shrines. I'm not super excited about that. Boseiju is fine, just slow. This is fine. You're not looking to first pick a blue, red, gold card. So we're just going to go with the March of Wretched Sorrow and see where that takes us. And follow it up with. This card has been very impressive. Do not sleep on this card. This is colorless. It's crew 1. It has flying. You can potentially ambush a little creature, but most importantly, you can use this as a tempo play and then get in the air for 2 starting on turn 2. Normally, 2 mana flyers for 2 have significant drawback. This is all upside. Literally a single token will do the job. Network Disruptor, very good in the Ninja deck. Also Hover Bike really well. Terrarium is fantastic. Lots of artifact synergies in this format. Mirror Box is kind of a meme. We're going to ignore that exists. I'm torn between the Terrarium because it goes into literally everything. This card is fine, by the way. Most of the reconfigure cards are completely fine because they turn everything into threats and then stay behind when that threat gets dealt. The Imperial Oath is also pretty powerful, but I think we are just going to stay open. Boon of Boseiju is obviously fine, but it's just a combat trick at the end of the day. It's like a combat trick that'll sometimes get you. Not really worth branching in a different color. These cards are a different story though. Igenjo Uprising is fine if you play this for a bunch of mana. Your tokens have Menace, so they're very hard pressed to block all of them. So this is a very good finisher. So for example, if you're playing this for 3, they make 2 tokens, you make 3 tokens, so you're winning out on the trade, but then you immediately get to attack for 6 hasty, vigilant, menace, bonus damage on the board. And that will often do a lot of work. And then if you cast it later in the game, you're almost always just going to win just based on how many more effective attackers you have thanks to the menace. Acquisition Octopus is very good. Short Circuit is fine. This removal is very good. Tamiyo Safekeeping has been very impressive. But the best cards here are the Octopus and the Twin Shot Sniper. I'm quite torn between these two. I think between these two, I'm going to take the Twin Shot Sniper, but it's a close thing. The fact that it's a 2 mana deal damage to anything that later can become a 2-for-1, it's just so good. And it's an artifact, so it activates all sorts of things in the format. We've got a Nezumi Prowler. This card's very good because if you ninjutsu this guy in, you can let one of your smaller creatures trade up, and Death Touch and Lifelink is a very good defensive combo. You can also just like play it to get attacks through. It's like a very nice aggressive deck, and this does make me kind of sad that I passed up the Octopus because the ninjutsu deck is exactly where the Octopus shines. The commons are all fine. The Yukai Preserver in particular is more than fine. It's a potentially a 4-mana 4/4, but with upside because there's modifications, channel, and the one of the powers can go. I think we're just gonna take the Nezumi Prowler or the Spirited Companion, but I don't think we should switch into a different color. There's no real reason to. I think the power level is comparable. Destroy target tapped creature for 2 mana is very good. Getting this 5th pick does make me feel like this is a little bit of a signal. Invigorating Hot Spring is also very good. We've actually been seeing a lot of good green. This is very late green cards. Holy. Bamboo Grove Archer just shuts everything that people are... It's Master's Rebuke in the pack still. Season of Renewal is also completely fine. Should we not be black? Should we... I mean, what am I taking if I'm not taking one of the green cards? I already have a red card, so maybe I should just hedge on the Invigorating Hot Spring. But I think the Bamboo Grove Archer might legitimately be better. Honestly, I'm going to take the Bamboo Grove Archer. It's just more consistent. And then get past what? Clawing Torment doesn't really do anything. Lunar Passage is fine. Enters the battlefield or dies, you put counters, so this is fine. Intervention is fine. Armguard Familiar is okay. It's actually kind of annoying because of the reconfigure. It gets an okay 2-drop, but then when you reconfigure it later on, actually is a pain to deal with. This is a very aggressive attacker. Nothing bad about it. Dramatist's Puppet is very, very good because in the modified deck because you can have a lot of power and toughness on the board, or you can... It's because... I think I will just end up taking that. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe I should take in one of the white cards. But I don't mind just having this, especially if I'm going the route of the modified creatures. With Runaway Trashbot. Artifact enchantment in my yard. There's also Brute Suit. There's also Dokuji Shadewalker though. Like 4 mana 5/5 is, I mean, it's a beating, let me tell you. This is Vigilance, it's 4/3, but we already have the hover bike, and I'm not sure there's real incentive for us to go into vehicles. So we'll just take this. Ancestral Katana's fine, but I would more like to go more black if possible. It's this Bearer of Memory, 7th pick. It looks like we have a lot of artifacts happening, so maybe this is good. Futurist Operative is quite powerful, and this is actually pretty late. So I'm a little surprised by that. We haven't seen a lot of powerful blue go around. A couple of Exalted cards, but nothing that just makes you want to go, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm not playing that. I'm actually going to take this Operative. As much as I would like to take this Inkrise, as much as Inkrise would go well, I think right now I'm in a place where I can just like hedge into just about any color. I'm really sad about passing that Octopus earlier. It really makes me sad now that I have this Twin Shot Sniper instead of an Octopus. I have a really good start to a blue-black deck. It's alright. Reckoner Shakedown doesn't really do much. It's a 3 mana discard spell. Yukai Trainee is fine. Harmonious Emergence is okay. Seventh Elementor is fine. I guess we'll go with the Harmonious Emergence. Actually, no, I'll go with the cheaper creature. Cheap is good. And now, of course, instant regret because now there's another Yukai Trainee. It's okay. Nothing awfully exciting. Nothing terrible either. Honestly, maybe the right pick is just to take this black-white dual land, just in case of, I don't know, stuff. I think I will take this Brute Suit now. Is there a reason to take the Thundersteel Colossus? I don't think so. I think let's just take the Brute Suit. the cheaper vehicle, and see if we can't go into vehicles maybe. Look, that is a fairly late Coiling Stalker. I'll take it. I mean, card's good. It'll hit something. Shrine Steward, you may search your library for an aura or a shrine card. It's a little expensive for this effect, but that said, it is very good. But because it is a 2-for-1, it's close. People let those pass around. I already passed a dual land. I don't want to pass up another one. If there's a chance that I might end up splashing white, now I kind of wish I'd taken the Scarred Baron, so I had the free white splash if I wanted it. I don't know. Ooh. Spirit Sister's Call. Card is very nice in the right deck. And by the right deck, I mean like most decks. Because you can throw away your little guys and get back your really big guys. This card is a bomb. Now I'm kind of very happy we took this Blossoming Sands. We're probably taking that. We could be... Okay, so Future Self isn't... Get out of here. Twin Shot Sniper Spy, I'm not making it in there. We could be just black-green, and Gloomshrieker is very good. I don't think it's better than Spirit Sister's Call, though. There's some good cards here. Timeless Completion, another Yukai Preserver, Ninja's Kunai is fine. Patchwork Tompion is really good in the deck that it's good in. Another Futurist Operative, so maybe we'll wheel something here, but we'll take the Spirit Sister's Call, see if we can't make some fun things happen. Again, this is extremely early in the format for me, so for those of you who are watching who've been playing this format for a while, I'm probably giving you 20 kinds of heart attacks right now, and I am sincerely sorry about that. Bronze Cudgels is very decent. It's essentially 3 mana to give something +3/+0. But it's 4 mana to give something +3/+0. But if you can pump this multiple times, like 3 times in a turn, like late game, this card turns everything into such a threat. It's quite powerful for that reason alone. So cheap artifact. Many synergies that this format. Another Futurist Operative. How many of these things are we going to get? I mean, this is one of the best ninjutsu cards, but we might just take another Bamboo Grove Archer. I mean, ninjutsu's cool, but a 2-mana 3/3 does work. Ogre Head Helm. Discard your hand and draw 3. One-time thing. Meh. It's just like a good way to refill your hand, or even potentially keep refilling your hand. Very aggressive red deck, but we are so far from that. I'm not gonna pick it. Prosperous Thief is very good. We could have had a sweet blue-black deck, but I'm not sad. I have this Twisted Embrace that I'm very happy to pick up. So I will just happily pick that up and recognize that there's a whole bunch of red cards here. But there's also some good green cards. Like Geothermal Kami is very good. Twisted Embrace, like play Geothermal Kami, pick up my Twisted Embrace is very powerful. It's something you can do with common, so that's pretty good. But you may cast target enchantment card from your graveyard this turn. How deep do you want to go on this White Splash? Not sure, but the alternatives are what? Seven-Tail Mentor befriending the Malts. There's no green in this pack at all. We're getting cut because we passed some good green in the first half of our pack. Ink Rise Infiltrator is obviously fine. This card is okay. Nothing wrong with it. How many enchantments do I have? Not horrendously many. We've got like the Bamboo Grove Archers. I'll take the Ink Rise Infiltrator, honestly. Stay the course. This lets ninjutsu happen. You're already dead is fine. Essence Capture is fine. Historian's Wisdom is okay, but it does require you to have the biggest butts on the battlefield in order for it to do its thing. But it is pretty easy to do that because it gives +2/+1 boon, so it's pretty good. Especially with Geothermal Kami, if you just keep picking it up. But I think honestly, just like can't go wrong with that guy. Greater Tanuki is great. It's just big fatty, but then early on, if you are screwed on mana, you can just discard him to be completely fine. This card is busted though. Like, have you read it? It says it's 8 mana, but with +1/+1 counters, this will usually be 6 mana. It's a 6 mana 8/8 trample that has hexproof. I'm sorry, Greater Tanuki, but Unforgiving 1 is also fine. Because if you have a whole bunch of modified creatures, then Unforgiving 1 can just like keep bringing back stuff. So I would love both of those other cards, but this guy. Normally these like really big critters have drawbacks rather than advantages, but this one is such upside, pure upside. Okay, well, I have no idea how this has made it this far. It's a 2 mana accelerant in a color that loves mana acceleration, and goes in the modify. I don't understand. I will take it and be very happy, but also, oh, excellent. Well, we get this Fade into Antiquity. This is very high value in this format. There's almost always at least one target. You're never unhappy to put the first copy in your deck. In fact, you're usually very happy to put it in your deck. We will take this Bearer of Memory now, I think. Yeah, I don't mind taking this Bearer of Memory. We ended up picking up a large number of enchantment creatures. As a 3 mana 3/2 that can pump some stuff. I don't hate it. Bronze Cudgels came back. Bronze Cudgels, sorry. I'll take it. There's a bunch of cards in the format that care about having both an artifact and an enchantment. This seems like a pretty free way to have it. We're probably not going to play like this commune. Probably not going to play 2 communes, are we? I mean, we might. How many enchantments we got? How many are there? How many? We got 6. That's nowhere nearly enough. Yeah. We'll just take that, whatever. We'll take somebody, Seven-Tailed Mentor. Sorry, somebody. Destroying's Wisdom came back. Fantastic. I didn't get back the Geothermal Kami, nor did I expect to, but I'm not unhappy. Takenuma, Abandoned Mire. Very good Magic card. It's a land. It's also a spell. What do you want? We might honestly take it here. Long Reach of Night is fine. It's just fine. That said, we have a large number of enchantments and potentially some enchantment synergies. And with Spirit Sister's Call, we can just keep recurring this potentially because we can sacrifice our enchantments to keep bringing this back. That sounds very powerful. But is it more powerful than just having a Takenuma? No, I will take the Takenuma. Land, that's also a spell, which is very good. Malicious Malfunction is fine, nothing to write home about necessarily. Goshintai of Hidden Cruelty, Lethal Exploit. We might just take a Lethal Exploit. Goshintai is fine, it's obviously an okay card, but we don't really have the green shrine, and Lethal Exploit is removal, and with the amount of modifications that we have in our deck, this will usually be a -3/-3. I'm happy with that. Speaking of modifications, we have picked up a Web Spinner Cuff. Very easy way to get some modifications. Very nice and defensive card. Pure Recovery Unit is pretty busted. Return to, like, in a dedicated low to the ground vehicles deck, this card does work. But Web Spinner Cuff is still very good. Toashi Guidebot, though, I don't know if it's better than Toashi Guidebot. Probably not, is my guess. Like, the Guidebot modifies things by itself and then rewards you for having modified cards. So, I will take that. We've got a few ways to modify, right? We've got a couple of auras. At this rate, the Brute Suit is hopefully not making it. Another Imperial Recovery Unit. Christ. Okay. Michiko's Reign of Truth, very good white card. Artifact and enchantment deck. But what is there for us? Honestly, I might just take this Fang of Shikegi. I don't mind Virus Beetle. Virus Beetle's decent. Especially because we might like to sacrifice it to Spirit Sister's Call. But Fang of Shigeki is just such a good, annoying little defensive critter. It shuts down a lot of people, a lot of aggression. I'm not feeling great about where we are right now with this deck. feels like we're missing a good amount of power if you control an artifact and an enchantment. So this will often in our deck actually draw us a card because we have quite a few good number of enchantments and several artifacts too. So Kami of Terrible Secrets is actually pretty good here. Let's just take the Kami. I would love a geothermal Kami, but Seiju reaches skyward. Alright, we might take this Searchlight Companion. 3 mana 1/1 that also produces a body is perfectly fine. This is okay. Yeah, this is a very decent card, and in fact it's very good, especially in the modified deck. I don't think I'm very low on creatures, so I might actually take this, because either way it's very good with all of our modifications. It's good early, it's good late. Like, one of the disadvantages of these cards, this is a dead draw often, but late game this is not going to be a dead draw. Like, this is never a dead draw, so I'm pretty happy about that. Might finally take this. Oh, actually, Enormous Energy Blade. This is so slow and so clunky, and the fact that you cannot use it to attack right away is just so upsetting. You can't even leave it bland on defense. It is yikes is what it is. Harmonious Emergence, funnily enough, actually does count as a modification on the land that you use, and I think I will end up taking that. The Enormous Energy Blade is funny, but I don't think it's actually actively good. We've got some good 2-drops. I don't think we're raring, frothing in the mouth for 2-drops, so I don't mind that. Sunblade Samurai is very helpful to splash this. Yeah, also the Fang of Shikage. Second Fang is probably just fine, and then this is none of this really matters. We'll just take Experimental Synthesizer, whatever. This is irrelevant. Nothing here. There's not really a chance we play this. I don't think we're not that desperate. Another Harmonious Emergence. I feel like we bungled this draft. I feel like if we had solidified ourselves in green earlier, or if we had gotten solidified ourselves in blue-black earlier, that would have been fine too. We kind of went halfway down a couple of strategies, and as a result, we're going to end up with an underpowered deck. We don't really have, like, we're seeing all of this white now, all of this red-white attack stuff. We saw a couple of Imperial Recovery units go late. We didn't pick up on that. Like, we picked up on green when it was too late, and then we stayed on green, and then because it was too late to switch, but then switch should have happened. It's very unfortunate. In my defense, still figuring out the format. Also, when I was reading this card, I did think this was each permanent. So, that was straight up idiotic. What are we cutting here? We've got a whole bunch of different ways to modify creatures. Got several different artifacts and enchantments to work with. We've got Bronze Cudgels as an artifact. We've got the Infiltrator is fine, but we don't really have terribly much ninjutsu. We have some, right? We've got the Dokuchi, and then the Nezumi Prowler, and then this guy. Yeah, it's 3. So it's not bad, and it's pretty good. It's very good at taking counter, so it's far from being the worst card in our deck. We have very little removal. We have like Twisted Embrace as hard removal and Lethal Exploit, and that's it. Black-green, low removal, yikes. Also, we never really picked up proper fixing for this Spirit Sister's Call. That is a yikes for me, dog. We never picked up, we saw the Terrarium in the first pack, and we never saw Terrarium again. Terrarium would have been great in this deck. It would have activated our Kami of Terrible Secrets, and it would have also allowed us to splash our Spirit Sister's Call much more reliably. As it is, okay, obviously we're not doing that. 8/8 with 1 for Spirit Sister's Call, because consistently being able to sacrifice things that you care about less to get back your biggest creatures is definitely huge. Like, imagine being able to sacrifice like a Fang of Shigeki for a walking skyscraper because they're both creatures, and just knowing that every time they get rid of the skyscraper, unless they exile it, a Fang of Shikegi is like, whenever it dies, I'm just going to be able to keep bringing it back. Every creature turns into a walking skyscraper. This isn't the best Spirit Sister Skull deck. We're not really making a lot of tokens, so we're actually sacrificing occasionally real cards, but a lot of those real cards will be enchantments, so we sacrifice this aura to bring back another enchantment, this creature, and then we can sacrifice another enchantment to bring back this aura, there's a couple of few cool loops that you can pull off in Spirit Sister Skull. This card's very powerful, definitely not one to be sleeping on. So what are we cutting? Got a Yukai Trainee. Card's fine. Nothing wrong with it. But we've got 2-drop, 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 1-drop, 1-drop. I don't really think we need the Yukai Trainee. This is also a 2-drop, so yeah, we're definitely covered in terms of the early plays. We have enough enchantment, definitely have enough enchantment creatures for the Bearer of Memory. It's pretty funny, by the way, that even the Harmonious Emergence turns your land into a creature. It's an enchantment. The land itself is not an enchantment, so Bearer of Memory can't actually put a counter on that. That's okay. We've got a few decent ones. I really wish we'd been able to get another Greater Tanuki. We passed the Tanuki for, I think, the Walking Skyscraper. This might come back to bite us, but I still think on a raw power level perspective, Skyscraper is still pretty good. I really don't like this Spirit Sister Skull splash now. This feels so inconsistent, and we have no real way of making mana of any other color except drawing the one planes. And I can't help but feel... Oh, River Blossom Sense. What am I doing? I'm stupid. Okay, see, this makes me feel much better. So, let's take a look at the mana cost. Yeah, we're more heavy green than we are black. So, we'll go essentially 9-7, right? This is 9-7, and then we've got one white source. This is fine, because now I've got two white sources for the Spirit Sister Skull, and one of them is essentially free. So I'm pretty happy with this now. So now the question is, what are we cutting? I like all of my 2-drops. They're all pretty good. Lethal. I don't really have any horrible cards in the deck, right? These cards are they're all going to perform perfectly well. Maybe we don't need the Harmonious Emergence. We've got a bunch of 4-drops, and with Yukai Preserver, Kami, Dokuchi, maybe we've picked up, and with the modifications incoming and the Bronze Cudgel, we've picked up enough power to where we don't really need a Harmonious Emergence to make a 4/5 on turn 5, right? It's like if you make this on turn 4, it's tapped, so this is turn 5 is when you want to play it, and it's like pretty good, don't get me wrong, like it's essentially a turn 5 vigilance hasty creature. It's pretty strong. Like, always happy to have one of these in the deck, but it's like, is it better than the other cards I'm trying to play? Actually, I'm not happy with what my 5-drop slot looks like right now. So maybe it's like I'm not cutting any of these. These are all fine. Is there any card that's obviously bad? I really don't think so. So maybe we can go down one Fang of Shikegi because of how many early plays we have. Now we have 13 creatures, which is a bit low, sure. But also, how many artifacts do we have, just to make sure? We have 5 artifacts, 10 enchantments. Decent number for the Kami. March is also probably something that we're casting later on, at least hoping to cast later on. Inkrise Infiltrator, so exploit. Do we really want a second Fang over any of the other cards that we have? Honestly, we're probably fine, because this Harmonious Emergence is very much a creature. And then this artifact is also a creature, so we actually have more, and this Roaring Earth is potentially a creature as well. So you actually have more creatures than the count tells us. I think this is a fine starting build. Let's run it. Let's go. See how this performs. I'm expecting this to not go very well at all. This is not even close to the cohesion and power level of the deck I mentioned earlier that had a lot of filtering, good amount of card draw, good amount of card selection, and just a powerful reset the board button with farewell. This doesn't feel like it's even approaching that power level, mostly because, you know, we train wrecked it because we're stupid. It's alright. Turn 1, Fang, not bad. Turn 2, Bronze Cudgels. We can go Bronze Cudgels equip, and then if we don't find anything better to do with our life, we can go ahead and activate the Cudgels next turn to attack, which would be pretty funny. Kami is a very good draw now, because we already have an artifact and an enchantment input, so if we draw the Kami, Psycho, easy for us to get ahead. Ooh, I would have loved one of those. Okay, still don't have anything better to do, so I mean, I don't have to do that. I could wait to see if he tries to. Okay. Yeah, there's no way he's trading his generous visitor for my Fang of Shigeki. Okay, but it's fine. Get in for 1 bonus point of damage. It's like opponents on blue-green enchantments. It's normally green-white enchantments, which makes me wonder if this blue might not be a bit of a bait, or maybe it's splashing something. Who knows? Who knows the mysteries of the world? Not gonna put a counter on the Fang, I don't think, because he has Death Touch. Okay. Sure. Okay, that's nice. We've drawn our planes. Less nice because it means we don't cast our Twisted Embrace, but that's okay. We'll attack. Actually, we'll hold it back. We'll hold it back in case the Yukai Preserver, in case something happens to the Yukai Preserver. I don't particularly want to give him, I don't particularly feel like giving him a free attack with the Coiling Stalker, so now this way he has to remove 2 creatures if he wants to get an attack, right? He's basically played 1-drop, 2-drop, so he's essentially skipped an entire turn 3 worth of plays. Then again, we didn't do much with our turn 3 either, so we're pretty even on board. I just happen to have a Bronze Cudgels in play. Funnily enough, it's on a Death Touch creature, so the bonus power doesn't matter terribly much. Story Weave, that is aggressive. You what, mate? Oh, that is good, actually. So, I think we're actually going to play this as an enchantment. Hear me out, because now it turns it turns all of our future lands into things that are pretty threatening, and it's like I don't think a 3/3 is going to be particularly relevant. For now, are we putting this in the Fang or the Yukai Preserver? I think just put it on the Yukai Preserver, right? The Fang still does have Death Touch after all. So we'll go ahead and, I mean, do we really mind trading the Preserver for both cards? I don't think so. But at the same time, I kind of don't want to. Because, so if he takes a double block, and I take the double block, and we get the trade, end result is I have nothing going on, really. He has a fistful of cards, but an empty board. But if I was going to do that, I should not have put a counter on the Preserver. Let's see if he takes it. He might not take the offer. I have 3 mana up as well. This does... what? I'm in bronze, so I don't know. You don't play MTG for a while and you come back to bronze and you thinking very hard about the kind of trades you're gonna make, and your opponent just like mainboard story weaves and then chumps away their Coiling Stalker. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Yeah, okay, so this is the card that doesn't do anything unless it's channeling. It's just a 5-mana 3/5, which is so unfortunate. That's a very good draw for us, actually, because now what we get to do is we get to attack with both of these. If he double blocks the Yukai Preserver, yeah, which is what I'm expecting him to do. Do we care more about the Generous Visitor or the Trespassers? I think we definitely care more about the Generous Visitor. So we can ninjutsu. Whoa, champ. We'll ninjutsu this in, right? Get back the Fang into our hands, and then hit him, and then we'll play back the Fang. And now next turn we can equip the cudgels on the Dokuchi Shadow Walker and really go to town. Black land is very good here because it lets us cast our Twisted Embrace. Oh, a Fang of his own, eh? It's fine. Heir of the Ancient Fang if you control a modified creature. Okay. You are offering a trade for your Fang. I accept. Sure. Like if that was your best play this turn, that's what you have. Oof. That's not half bad. Thing is, he can just 1-for-1 this. I really don't want to trade this for a 1/1. So I think we do just play out the Prowler. And this doesn't matter. And then we will equip here. And we'll pass the turn because now this guy can become a 4/1 if he needs to. I don't think there's a trick in the format that gives Death Touch, if I recall correctly. Harmonious Emergence, 4/5, sure, fine by me. The 4/5 doesn't do much into our Dokuchi Shadow Walker, so pretty happy. So if like, I'm more than happy to have him send the Fang in my way. That's not bad. That's going to be able to start getting in for some serious damage starting next turn. So we will send this over this way. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Prick. It's okay. Didn't want that 2-mana anyway. That's alright. Because next turn we get to start hitting with the Inkforce Infiltrator. Now, like, there's practically no card we can draw that's bad for us. If we draw a land, that lets us put a +1/+1 counter on one of our creatures, which will activate our Walking Skyscraper and will make it castable. If we draw a spell, that's obviously very good. There is no spell in our deck right now that we cannot cast. So it's just like, we are very live right now. Graphic Growth, remembering what this was? It just like makes 2 mana, right? Yeah. This is like the Gift of Paradise that puts +1 counters instead. Okay. If he wants to hit me for 5, I suppose he can. Do I want to trade away this Harmonious Emergence? I mean, I don't think I'm racing him necessarily anytime soon. I'll take 1 hit, honestly. It's fine. I mean, I have no reason to trade this. Okay, so this is a -3/-3 right now, right? Yes, it is. Okay. Equip on the Dokuchi, maybe? No, the Dokuchi has enough power, I think, to survive practically any combat. Because if he blocks, like, let's say he blocks this with that, we can just -3/-3 it. If he double blocks and we -3/-3 this, then there's 2 power here and 2 power there. That's still not enough. But then we would wish that we had some extra power to finish it off. Okay, so we've run the numbers. This works. We'll just leave that guy back. This is pretty unfortunate. It's okay. I mean, I guess that was always going to happen, but it's okay. I was concerned. I completely forgot that he could just like block with the Death Toucher, and that's why I hadn't been attacking all this time. He has a walking skyscraper of his own. Fine by me. Okay, give us a Twisted Embrace, please. High speed hoverbike's not bad. Is it good enough though? Unclear. So we send in this guy. Not really bold enough to attack him right now, right? That lethal exploit play was so sad. Should have just exploded away the air of the ancient vanguards. Oh, that's a problem. Oh, that is disgusting. It just sits there and gets to grow and stuff. We will high-speed hover bike the 5-6. Are you gonna give this hexproof just to make it? Oh my gosh, he's gonna give it hexproof just to let it not be tapped. Okay. Is it also indestructible? It is also indestructible. Okay. So how much of this are we taking? So, I mean, I think there's a very easy block there. Now the question is, are we taking 13? Take 13. Okay. Well. We should have a lethal exploit still. This is so sad. He has lethal on board as it stands, which is fairly unfortunate. Okay, well, that's not going to cut it. Historian's Wisdom. It's not going to draw me a card, because I don't actually control the creature with greatest power. But we can change that by going bronze. We can activate Cudgels once, and then we can draw a card off of it. Okay. Well, that's what we're doing. And now we're dead. Because he has one more attacker. Then we have blockers. But maybe he doesn't realize that yet. Wow, we really punted this game away hard. All he has to do is turn his creature sideways and we're dead. Maybe he doesn't see it. He's not gonna attack with everything. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, not hallelujah. That thing has trample. We're still dead. Should have chumped, fella. Should have chumped. This is a fine hand. It's a little light on land, but if we do draw land, this hand just absolutely pops off. Because Roaring Earth will make everything that much better. If we see aggressive plays out of them, we will go for the Bamboo Grove Vulture. Otherwise, lead with the Inside Infiltrator. Looks like no aggressive plays out of them, so we will go with the Inside Infiltrator. If we draw land, we might actually go Roaring Earth land to buff up the Infiltrator. If we don't draw land, we'll just go with the Bamboo Grove Vulture. Hopefully we do draw land though. Papercraft Decoy, sure, fine card. Okay, we even draw tap land, great. So Roaring Earth, play out that guy. And then Blossoming Sands, I now have a 2-power flyer, yay me. And then next turn, Historian's Wisdom will hopefully draw us another card. Oh, you're pointing to my thing. Oh, okay, you're not going to kill my thing, that's fine. Take 2. And then, so now we can either play this Bearer of Memory, or we can go all in. We can Wisdom it up. I think I will try to draw a card off of this, and the only real way that, to try and hit my land drop, and red, so far, like, we've only seen red. It's like red has to deal damage. Oh, never mind. There we go. Black. Well, this play is a good bit worse against black, but we've gotten a good chunk of damage, and if they spend their turn killing my thing, I'm not terribly unhappy. We also have a nice lethal exploit for their Brute Suit, so I'm feeling decent about our spot. What fresh hell is this? Target artifact card from your graveyard this turn. Okay, so he's just going to attack for 4. We're going to go down to 15, but then we're going to smack him back. And then, he's going to attack for 6 because he can crew that way. So, alright, it is a race. I need my lands. Give daddy his lands. It's not a land. Land would have been so good because it would have let me go Bamboo Grove Archer into Lethal Exploit. As it is, I now have to choose. I mean, he doesn't have any artifacts in his graveyard, so I'm not worried about this. And I do still have flying power in play, so I will offer the trade with Bamboo Grove Archer for the general. He's probably not going to take it, but on the off chance that he does. 3 colors, eh? Again, Roaring Earth, Walking Skyscraper is a combo if you have lands. If you don't draw the lands, that's unfortunate. So in the top 12 cards, you've only seen 3 lands. So quarter lands, 25%. Whereas the real portion of the deck is like 40% lands, just a little above 40% because it's 17 out of 40, not 60. So that's a little unfortunate. It's okay. Don't draw land, but draw the card that cares about you having lands, eh? Well, not much to do here for us. We're just gonna attack with this Inside Infiltrator. Just keep hitting in the air. Show me what you got. Representing a safekeeping I do not possess. If he's gonna kill that, I'm gonna respond by killing this, because otherwise that doesn't die, because I only have the 1 modified creature. Also, a land is very good here because it activates our Towashi. Also, if we had drawn a land, then this wouldn't have happened because we could have pumped up our Infiltrator. Have I mentioned how many ways not having drawn a 4th land has screwed us over this game? Looks like opponent has all his lands. Hopefully he doesn't do something like massive on turn 6 that we can't beat. If we can find a land, we're probably playing out the Towashi Guidebot. Put the counter from the Roaring Earth on the Bamboo Grove Vulture, and then Towashi Guidebot, put the counter on himself to increase the number of modified creatures I have. Oh. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know that I want to trade this away. Oh, I'm not even going to be given the opportunity to trade this away. He's just going to make it a big boy. That could be a problem. I mean, this guy still has reach. Is that a samurai? Is it? Oh, he can just give it indestructible. But he shouldn't need to. This thing attacks in the air. And even though this guy has reach, like, I can't pump it. So yeah, take my 5. Suddenly not feeling great. This is a pretty high tempo card. Oh my god, finally. Okay. So, how have our plans changed? Put a counter there. I think our plans have changed in that we're not planning to draw any cards with the Towashi Guidebot. So, we are going to try and make it so that this guy is capable of blocking him. So he becomes a 5/4. So he's actually already capable. He cannot survive essentially no matter what happens there. And he'll have to crew in response, which he might. Put it on the Guidebot. Because this way, we at least are left with something, even if we need to trade off our Bamboo Grove Archer. If putting the +1 counter allowed it to survive the trade with the Brute Suit, then I would be fine with this, but it doesn't, so here we are. Alright, next turn, barring anything going terribly wrong, we'll finally get to play a Kami of Terrible Secrets, gain a life, draw a card, because we control both an artifact and an enchantment. Feeling pretty happy about that. Target creature. Oh, he didn't hold priority, so he can't actually give it to the Brute Suit. That's fantastic. So now I can actually block whatever he sends my way. I like that. That's cool. This guy? Selfless Samurai. Probably put it on the Papercraft Decoy, right? No, on the Samurai. I mean, it doesn't attack through this guy. I was thinking through the Decoy because then he can threaten a combat trick, and then if I block, and he does have a combat trick, even if his thing ends up dying, he can still draw cards. But, I don't know, maybe if he has a trick, he doesn't need to use that on the Decoy, but I mean, now if he's attacking, I'm obviously going to block the Samurai, at which point he's wasted the buff. I don't know. It's weird. Arrow of Enlightenment. Sure. Befriending the Moths is like, at 4 mana, it's just so much of the mana. It's like, in a very aggro, sort of cheesy deck, this can like be the thing that pushes us over the edge, but okay. Play out our Kami of Terrible Secrets. His Befriending the Moths is going to come. Please don't touch my artifact in response. That would make me horribly sad. Okay. Thank heavens. Okay. Thank heavens. Okay. Thank heavens. Okay, we're feeling pretty good now. We are at 9 life. We have 3 modified creatures. So this activates our Towashi Guidebot. This is not activated as a sorcery, so I can just hold this up, and now I can just start drawing cards every turn. Whew! So it's close, but I think we turned the corner. I mean, I didn't think there was a corner to turn after our start, but just getting stuck on lands felt pretty bad for a bit. It's alright, though. We're all better now. Spirit Sister's Call would be pretty amazing here. You could sacrifice away the Roaring Earth to get back Historian's Wisdom, and then you can sacrifice away the Historian's Wisdom to get back Roaring Earth, and you can just keep recurring that loop and keep getting the card draw of the Historian's Wisdom alongside the card draw of the Guidebot. If you have removal, you're probably going to need to use it on this Guidebot, but if you don't, you are screwed. If this attacks alone, so he's going to attack alone with a Samurai. Right, he attacks alone with a Samurai. gives it lifelink. That makes sense. Make a big flyer. Flyer that's bigger than a Bamboo Grove Archer. Doesn't have haste, so it doesn't get in this time. He doesn't really have good attacks right now. And then next turn he's going to make a 2/2 for a striker. And again, that's not particularly relevant in this board either. Alright, draw a card. Draw a card. This is starting to get out of hand for our opponent. Because now what we get to do is play this Nezumi Prowler. Remember, this isn't when it is ninjutsu, just when it enters the battlefield. So we can go ahead and put this on our Kami. You put this trigger on our Kami. And there's really nothing he can do about it for 1 mana. So now what we can do, so this is pretty incredible, because now I'm going to have 4 modified creatures, right? So I can draw a card just by tapping this thing, and I can still play, I have the mana left to play a Walking Skyscraper by itself. So we will attack, and if he decides to block with literally anything, I am quite happy. Although, actually, that's not necessarily true, because if he blocks with the Moth and then sacrifices the Samurai, then I suppose I'm less happy, but I still get the life gain. But I should have definitely played out the Skyscraper pre-combat, because there was a good chance it would have died. So that was almost a punt, not a punt, because my opponent took it in stride. I now have an 8/8. I have a way to draw cards for no mana. Just get to tap this card, draw a card. That's pretty good. We're alright here. We're more than alright. The 2/2 is quite irrelevant at this stage. These sagas are all fine, but in order to play the 2-drop sagas, you really just want to make sure that the creature body that they're offering is this. What fresh hell is this? 5 mana 4/4 flyer, you say? That's not half bad. It's better than half bad. That's good. I'll take my lumps, so. Oh, that's an excellent draw. Oh my. So, do we exile the flyer or do we exile the blade? Definitely just exile the flyer, right? But I mean, that flyer is arguably even more problematic. So, this guy is already a problem. There's really not much you can do about this, so we will actually go ahead and just exile that thing. There we are. And now we have to remember that he has a 4/3 blocker instead of one of these 2/2s, but I really don't think this matters. Because all we have to do is just send in this 4/5 and this 9/9. Actually, there's a world, isn't there, in which we can just kill him, because if we send with everything, this thing is lethal by itself. He has to put at least 1 critter in front of it. So he puts 1 critter in front of it, goes very low. So let's say he puts this critter in front of it. This guy. That doesn't work actually, because he still takes 8. So he has to put this guy in front of it. Takes 7, and then he uses the Papercraft decoy to crew up a Brute Suit to block my Guidebot, and then oh, so he can actually block all my things. Okay, well, just those 2 then. Oh, did I troll? If I just played Harmonious Emergence first, would that have worked out? Or maybe if I should have drawn a card with a Guidebot in that case. But did I math wrong? Surely not. Block here. Yeah, he has 3 creatures. I have 4 attackers. Oh, I did math wrong. Oh, I'm stupid. I deserve to lose. Completely forgot to count the Kami. It's alright. Make him suffer a little bit longer. In before he casts Farewell and we cry. Are we going to play around Farewell? I think we really are, because our board state is just so much better. There is no real incentive for me to do absolutely anything here. Selfless Samurai. Sacrifice it. Protect the first striker. Sure. That's fine. It doesn't change the outcome. It's fine though. Okay. We should have won on this turn. The fact that we didn't is fairly troll. Sorry. Damage. This thing tramples over for an absolute gazillion. I don't think we even have a combat trick in the deck if to draw. If we had just drawn that, the Bronze Cuzels was gonna win us the game. I didn't even consider that line of play. Oh my god. What an absolute comedy of errors. Even if he farewells, actually I just realized, like the reason I'm playing out my cards now is because even if he plays Farewell here, it doesn't matter. Because I have the Harmonious Emergence, which gives everything haste. That is not a Farewell. Can we get burned out? Should we chump block? I think we should chump block, actually, if he sends in with them off. In case he has a burn spell that can go face. I don't think he can have a burn spell that deals 9, but he might have a burn spell that deals 5. Is there a fireball in the format even? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think there's a fireball in the format. Hulk Smash. Drake Chump, let's go. Kami's Flare. Okay. That's not gonna do it. If you control a modified creature, it deals 3. This is a very good card. Yeah, he's just dead. The game was so much tougher than it had any right to be. This is a fairly decent hand. We can keep. Got a 1-drop removal spell. Very good 2-drop to Ninjutsu in. Well, I mean, it's not the most impactful 2-drop to Ninjutsu in, but the Prowler is, what is this? What fresh hell? When you die, exile it, and then... okay, so the equipment basically eats all of the effects. That's fine. So we will Fang of Shikegi, and then we'll Ninjutsu in the Nazumi Prowler. This lets us deal more damage, and it gains us a bunch of life, because Prowler now gains Death Touch and Lifelink. Yay! 3 damage, 3 life, 2 mana, 3/1. Success. Alright, what do you got, opponent? Well, this card is annoying. The opponent just go rare into rare, which is more annoying. So the Kami is whenever a creature, or whenever an enchantment goes away. I'm actually tempted to exile this Eater of Virtue, though. Trample. Yeah, so this imbibes all of the things. I will offer up the trade with the Nazumi Prowler, I think. Okay. And then it's only 1 mana to equip. Maybe I'm better off just exiling this. This is so mana inefficient to play out the Fang of Shikegi, and it's like never actually going to get in for damage, and I don't really need it on defense right now. I'm fairly happy with this. And then I can twist it. What? Main phase channel my Sunblade Samurai. Okay, well now I'm not even sure I want to play out this Twisted Embrace. I'm just gonna play out this Fang, to be honest. I'll save the Twisted Embrace. This is a very mana inefficient, but it's not like I'm doing much anyways. My Walking Skyscraper still costs 8 mana because I don't have any modifications. Azusa's Many Journeys. Okay. It says when if an enchantment was put into your graveyard from the battlefield this turn, what are you? Trade. Easy peasy. Get rid of that thing. He'll eventually get it back, but that's okay. Eventually is a long way away. I think we are actually going to Twisted Embrace this up. Yeah, this makes sense to me because now we can kill this and we'll hit him for 4. This Nezumi Prowler is no joke going the distance. Azusa still doesn't do anything. He's going to return. Okay, Intercessor's Arrest. That's fine. Nezumi has the 8 of premium removal spell. And now I have this Yukai Preserver to play. And I can put this counter here. That makes it so that my Walking Skyscraper now costs 6 because I have a creature that has a modification. And then I have a Yukai Preserver. And that means I get to play a 6/6. A 6 mana 8/8 with Trample and Hexproof when it's untapped. That's pretty good. It's also not something that I expect him to be able to deal with quite well. Oh, Historian's Wisdom is going to be really good. Target enchantment card from your graveyard. Does he have any in his graveyard? Oh, he does! It's the Sunblade Samurai. So, I'm going to not attack because I don't particularly... Actually, no. I will attack because I'm happy to trade this for Morika Yamazaki, and he's only going to be able to trade if he double blocks unless he has a combat trick. If he doesn't have a combat trick, I will happily trade this. Oh, I trolled! I should have done this before combat! Now I can't play my Skyscraper. Oh, that's so bad. Now I just have to pass my turn. Oh my gosh. I completely forgot that after combat it would cost 7 mana. I am bad at this game and you should sue me. Sorry, first draft jitters. It's okay. Never unlucky. Walking Skyscraper. Here we go. 8/8, Trample, Hexproof. Haha. Never punished. Haha. That was horrifying. I should have 100% done that pre-combat, even though it gives him more information. I think it even gives him more incentive to block, so I don't think it would have changed anything. Oh, that's unfortunate. He's having to channel a Tanuki. The 6/5 would have done quite decently. The 6/5 would have done quite decently into the 8/8. It's 10/9 now though, so there is that. We'll play out 1 land, and then hold this one because we don't have a choice but to hold it. But also in case we draw a Roiling Earth, and for whatever reason we want to cast it as an enchantment. So he goes up to 7, and then he gets the Kami back. Sure. He could have thrown away this guy, but he chose to throw that guy, so that makes sense. But getting the Kami back itself isn't going to be enough. Well, here we are. This should have happened a turn sooner. He should have been under a lot more pressure. Might have punted away this game. We are flooding out a little. Opponent is only on 6 lands, so I assume he has a bunch of spells in hand. Kami into an Intercessor's Arrest would be really bad for us here. But then if we could get our Spirit Sister's Call, that would be really good. Okay, that's not going to do anything. That is a 6/6. They're going to need all of that whenever at the beginning of each end step. So he's just going to get the Kami back? Well, I really don't like that. It's a 2-for-1, but then I have nothing else going on whatsoever. I think let's just stonewall him. No need to rush into anything. Because he's not going to be able to attack into this guy for a while, and this thing has hexproof. Oh, that's a problem. Wait, if he has more of that, that's a really big problem, because now I take 14? But he is also scared of what I could do. Oh, that's good. Now, this is 10 toughness. That's highly unfortunate. I think we still put it on the Skyscraper. Threaten more trample. The guide bot is a problem no matter what, and the +1/+1 counter on it is not going to be terribly irrelevant. But I drew the guide bot first, though. So he gets to do it for 1 mana. I get to do it for 2. Okay. Well, we'll draw a card because we are flooding out really bad. Ain't that the dangest thing? All right, we'll attack. Presumably, opponent is going to want to block, right? And then after he blocks, we'll just, yeah, so we kill this. This is essentially a Wrath. We deal 1. My thing dies, and he's probably feeling pretty good about himself, but now I have a Spirit Sister's Call. Now, I'll get back the Skyscraper, and I'll sacrifice this Nezumi Prowler, which isn't doing anything anyway, and get back my 8/8. Whew. This is good. And then next turn, I will draw a card with my Guide Bot. And then I can sacrifice it to get back a Yukai Preserver. And then I can eventually sacrifice the Preserver to get back Twisted Embrace. Like any enchantment lets me constantly... Oh, that doesn't do anything because you don't have the highest power in play. So you can put 8 toughness in front of this fairly easily. Okay, you draw a card there. Aren't you scared? Oh, well, that does just end the game, because now I can do this. And this has Vigilance, so I get to attack with this really nicely. And yeah, if he... I just send in with everything, and then he can't really do much about it, yeah. Cool. Almost punted that game away, but better lucky than good, I suppose. Walking Skyscraper is a beating. Although we did flood out so much, I think I don't mind that we ended up drawing the Spirit Sister's Call there. We did deserve to get a good turn. Another decent hand. It's a little light on lands, but I have 2 fantastic 2-drops. If I need to go offensive, I can Hover Bike and then crew it up with the Grove Archer. If I need to go defensive, I can just play the Grove Archer first, but I'm on the play, so I shouldn't need to go super defensive. Fang of Shigeki. Well, there's a billion ways for us to deal with that. I think I will actually flash in the Hover Bike. It flies over the Fang quite nicely. We'll flash in the Hover Bike. No need for us to take that 1 damage. Tap that thing down. And then we can untap, and oh, well, that doesn't do actually anything, right? Yeah, it just like scries 2, so it sets him up pretty well. He did mulligan, so the scry 2 has to be nice. Smoothen his draw. Now this is unfortunate for us because we don't get to play our cards yet. Getting another one would be really good here, but it's alright. This thing just a 2/2 first strike, right? Yeah, okay. It's not going to do much against our Bamboo Grove Archer. It'd be pretty funny if we ended up Historian's Wisdoming up our Bamboo Grove Archer. This is enchant artifact or creature, right? Yeah, okay. So I can enchant my high-speed hover bike and make it a big boy. That legitimately might be the plan. There's also a chance we cause Bearer of Memory depending on what the opponent does. Oh, it's just another Arrow of Enlightenment. Well, that's really not going to do much. He can attack me with his Fang of Shigeki and cast all the Arrows of Enlightenment he likes. Wait, after scrying, did he not have a land? Okay, he does have a land. Okay. Well, opponent's going to have a lot of to-do. So, I think crew this up with this guy. Attack for 2, but then ninjutsu this guy in, because that way we get to make a 4/4 or a 3/2? Amber Grover is just such a good show of blocking everything. I think we'll still make a 3/2 because there's a chance with Fade into Antiquity we get an attack in with this guy, or with Historian's Wisdom we make him big enough and burly enough to attack through stuff, assuming he taps out with the Fang, which, you know, unlikely, but also we have a lethal exploit for the Fang. What we're really looking for is our third land. For somebody who hasn't drawn any lands, we're not doing too terribly. That's not a land. I think let's just pass. We have 2 plays that are both pretty good at instant speed. So we can flash in the hover bike, or we can lethal exploit one of their critters, depending on what opponent does. But we really need a land here. Otherwise, we might just not be able to keep up with everything he's doing. Almost fought out to death last game, and draw no lands this game. Sounds about the typical draft experience, but overall, if you have a good, consistent deck with a decent curve, I'd still be able to pull off a lot of situations like these. And even though I've been playing handicapped, I've still been playing relatively well. Like, I'm not worried. Sure, you know, none of this stuff is particularly, I don't particularly feel like lethally exploiting most of this. I'll tap down one of the first strikers, in fact the one that can attack, because why would you tap down the one that can't attack? He's tanking, he's letting it happen. I doubt he'll want to attack now. Do you really want to trade your Bearer of Memory for either of these creatures? You do. Okay. Honestly, fine by me. Might as well just take the hit. Honestly, I don't see myself going on the offensive anytime soon, and I think the 3/2 is more valuable than the 2/2. So I'll crew this and go ahead and try to block the hover bike. See if he lets that happen. Block there. What's gonna happen? Is opponent going to go Trixie on us? He is. He's going to play a Tameo Safekeeping. Okay, fine by me. Hoverbike is my less valuable creature in this scenario where I have less of a board presence because it's more expensive for me to tap down a creature to crew it. And Coiling Stalker has the potential to put more modifications on my guys. Hotshot Mechanic, not bad. Okay, we did it. Not particularly liking fading anything into Antiquity here. Lethal Exploit still is a very good option, but not one that I feel like we need to make. We can just honestly play out our Bearer, use our 3/3 to keep his 2/2s at bay. Although if he attacks with the first strikers, it's obvious he's representing a trick. So I might just decide to accept the trick. The trick. I might just decide to play as though the trick exists, accept its existence, and then carry on anyways. One reason to keep the hoverbike is if you're eventually planning into ninjutsu and the Dokuchi Shadowwalker, but we are so far from being on the offensive that I don't think we're ever going to get there. Now, as it is, he's stuck with a bunch of things that are stonewalled by my 3/3, which is exactly the way we like it. Funnily enough, if this counter, this particular game, I feel like would actually might have been more valuable in this Grove Archer, because then it would stonewall the Bearer of Memory too. But I don't mind trading Bearers of Memory, especially when he has mana and I don't, right? It gives him something to do. I have many uses for my mana. So if we draw a fourth land, what are we doing? Favor of Yukai. A 5/5 first strike with reach. That's a yikes from me, dog. Because I can now fade this thing into antiquity. Not the favor, just the whole thing. That's a clean 2 for 1. No attacks, because we are significantly behind on life total. But we are now, I feel, in a very commanding position. That was the best he could do when he's flooding out on the board like this. If that was his highest pressure play, I feel great. Because I still have that lethal exploit, right? Still very easily take out any of his creatures. Yeah, feel very good about that. Says the risk you play for. Oh my god. Take 7? Do I want to throw away any of my own? Throwing in the 2/1. Okay, happily trade bearers and take 7. And now this turn, play the Merge Keeper, and then just hold up lethal exploit. Didn't mean to attack. Thank you very much. It was just trade with the Fang of Shigeki, which is so far from what we want to do. No thank you. So we wanted to wait until he targeted something with it, because if he didn't target something with the hand of with it, then he could have just given something else flying and made it that big. Yeah, okay. That happens, and now Michiko becomes +1/+1 for each artifact or enchantment you control. So he has an enchantment creature, and Michiko herself is an enchantment. So this is currently a 2/2. Oh, artifact and enchantment. So this is currently a 3/3. Okay. Actually, Michiko's pretty damn good here. Okay. More errors of enlightenment. Era of enlightenment for days. When did he discard this though? Didn't I fade it into antiquity? Oh no, sorry. I traded that one. This is the one I just lethally exploited, so that's fine. All right. We're in a very commanding position now. I have to feel. Orochi. So I have the option of making 6 mana. Is it worth just tapping out to play a big dumb 5/5? Or should I wisdom the Merge Keeper? No, so let's wisdom. Honestly, just play the Dokuchi. Fine by me. And then I still don't particularly feel the need to trade with this Fang of Shigeki, so I'll be happy with this. And then next turn I can put the wisdom on just most about anything and still be perfectly fine, because I will still have the highest power in play. Although the Moth Rider Patrol does make that plan bad. So this is essentially free mana. So let's play out the Guidebot, right? Put a counter on the Merge Keeper. Or do we want the counter on the Dokuchi? Honestly, let's put it on the Merge Keeper and then wisdom up the Shadow Walker. This is the most mana efficient, right? Yeah. Okay. And then I draw a card, and now I can play a land, and I can play out this Bronze Cudgels. And then next turn, I can start equipping Cudgels. Now, Bearer of Memory would be amazing here, absolutely, by the way, because Bearer of Memory would 100% of the time. Okay. Gonna have to line up a big block on the Michiko, unfortunately. Oh, also we have 3 modified creatures, so Toashi Guidebot taps for 1 mana. But if I can just equip the Bronze Cudgels to, let's say, the Bamboo Grove Archer, then Toashi Guidebot goes for it. And draws a card for 0 mana, which is pretty good. What are we looking to draw? Twisted Embrace, Spirit Sister's Call. Yeah, essentially hard removal in any form is very good here. That's really our #1 priority. We need an answer to the portrait of Michiko. Michiko's Reign of Truth is insane. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, now you're not really just attacking. Oh, you are, but just with the Moth Rider because of the stupid flying. All right, mate. All right. I mean, I'm losing on board. Grove Archer's not bad. Although at this stage, it might be worth my while to just destroy that thing instead. I reckon so. So let's equip this to the Coiling Stalker. And then let's discard and do this before he can draw Indestructible or what have you. And now he has pressure, but I have a bunch of really good blockers. Pretty interesting game. The mana screw did hurt me a lot because it meant I ended up taking a lot of damage because he put out a lot of threats. If he draws a land here, by the way, and starts being able to give his things trample, I'm not happy. Oh my gosh. This is not great because it means the Michiko can trade for the Dokuchi, but I would rather trade it now than after Bearer starts to pop off. But it does mean now lands are live draws for our opponent. So he's good with lands, he's good with spells. Yeah, we're going to need to draw something here. If he offers us the trade with Portrait of Michiko, we have to take it. We're not dead by any stretch, right? Like, let's say he attacks with everything. We trade away the Portrait of Michiko with the Dokuchi Shadow Walker, and then probably trade the Bearer with a thing, and then the Coiling Stalker with something like a Hotshot Mechanic, and the board is mostly clear. But he has a couple more creatures than I do. Yeah, okay. He's looking to put a large amount of pressure. Might want to hold back the Bearer in case he draws the land, but I think at this stage he just wants to get me to 0 ASAP. Because I have a Towashi Guidebot, and that might win me the game. If I draw Spirit Sister's Call, I can't cast it, right? No, I can't. That's unfortunate. So that's not an out. Okay, so pass to blockers. This is very forced. I have to block there. The Stalker trades there. Orochi has to trade here. And we're taking 4. Here we are. That's not great. If we tap this to draw a card, then if land is lethal, land kills us. Do we take that risk? What are we even hoping to draw? We can play most things we draw, right? What if we can't, though? It's a pretty big risk. I'll just play my land and pass. Ugh, I hate it. I hate it so much. If he attacks with both, I will draw a card with Guidebot and trade for the Fang. If he attacks with only one but not both, Hand of Enlightenment. Do I chump block it just yet? If he draws a land, I think I will chump block. If he just attacks with this, Mama didn't raise no bitch. We're gonna draw a card. Okay, I'm glad I did. Because if we just draw land next turn, we're dead. Opponent has drawn so many more spells than we have, and one of those spells has been a Season of Renewal. Oh my word. I mean, I don't think I can win at this stage. Because if he just plays a land, I lose. So I think I'm forced into drawing a card here and hoping to draw something good. It's not going to cut it, because that's just a chump blocker at this stage, right? Yeah, might have been good. Not anymore. Under too much pressure. It does keep me alive. So who knows, maybe. No, whatever, it doesn't matter. Equip 1. He's just going to attack with the stupid thing, and then if he just draws a land, I'm dead anyways. I needed to draw something good. Yeah, dead. Extremely unfortunate. Mana screws straight into Flood. Very, very sad. Sometimes Magic is like that. What are you going to do? I mean, we did get to 3 wins. Hopefully we can just get one more win so that we don't lose too many gems. With one more win, it's only a net negative of 100 gems. I'm pretty happy with that overall. I mean, not happy with the record, of course, but happy with the fact that I'm not losing out on an investment, really. Lets me do another draft. I think this is a mull, because Bronze Cudgels doesn't do anything anyway. And March of Wretched Sorrow really needs mana to get going, and I don't have green for my green cards, so this is... Again, if I knew I was going to draw green, I might keep that, but outside of that, ooh, it's a great hand. What are you putting back? Fang into Prowler is fantastic, so maybe we're not going to play this Fade into Antiquity, but I really don't want Fade into Antiquity to be on the bottom of my deck. Let's get greedy. Let's do this and then never draw a third land. But I don't particularly want to put Twisted Embrace or Fade into Antiquity on the bottom of my deck. They are both top tier removal spells for me. So, same play as last time. Put in the Prowler. Boom. 23 life. Take that, opponent. Bamboo Grove Archer. Alright. Don't have a third land, but that's okay. We have 2 drops, we have 1 drops. Yeah, I'm happy to trade this. Inkrise Infiltrator, go. Not great that I don't have a third land, but it's alright. Still have plays. If he's going to Interceptor's Arrest my 2 mana 1/2 flyer, I'm very happy. Spirit of Companion, ew. What a good Magic card. Alright. Play out the Fang that he knows about, attack. The nightmare scenario of never hitting a third land drop is happening. It is real. It is scary. Mana Screw isn't real. Mana Screw can't hurt you. Shuffler Rig isn't real. Shuffler Rig can't hurt you. What if they can? Bamboo Grove Archer. Okay. Now I can't attack with that either. And this is only... this is only a -2/-2. Really need to draw land here. What are you holding, opponent? Am I just playing out a Stalker? What else am I doing with my mana, right? I'll just play out my Stalker. Pass turn. Does he have a Farewell? What is he doing? I mean, Farewell is pretty brutal here. He only goes down 1 card. He has a Farewell, doesn't he? Oh, he has a Wandering Emperor. Oh my god. Okay. Well, under those circumstances, Jesus. To a Kappa Tech Replica. Back-to-back loses 2 games to Mana Screw. I can't beat the Wandering Emperor. I just don't have the board presence necessary to attack it, and then it will just pump out Samurais for days. What an unfortunate finish to this draft. Sometimes, Shuffler just hates you. I mean, granted, our deck wasn't the greatest, but in our defense, I don't think it would have mattered with games like that. Well, hopefully you can learn from my mistakes. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Peace.